Hello, this is Andres Aya with Aya Percussion, bringing you 4 mallet grip setup. So I probably have introduced this in class. Maybe you're somebody that I don't even teach that needs to learn how to hold Stevens grip. So we're gonna go over a very general setup here that's gonna get you to survive in middle school or starting high school. In front ensemble and drumline, you might have technicians that do things slightly different. This is gonna get you in the door and basically get you 99% of the way there. So what I want you to do is have no mallets in your hands yet, okay? Let's do our right hand or your dominant hand. What I want you to do is put your hand out like you're shaking somebody's hand, okay? In the middle, right in the middle of your hand, I want you to put the butt of the mallet there, okay? Now, this is the very first thing we're learning, is putting the stick right in the middle of your hand. Now that's gonna be one of the first things you mess up. As we start to add more things to this, what's gonna happen is a lot of 6th or 7th graders let it slide down like that. Keep it right in the middle. Here's the next thing I want you to do. If you're holding your hands naturally, you'll see a curve. I want you to just move the mallet on top of the curve of your first finger. Okay, that first finger we kind of call the bird perch. Okay, if you were just sitting there relaxing and put out your finger and you wanted a butterfly to land on it or a bird, you would do this. Okay, don't have it too straight. Don't have it where I call it you're pulling the trigger. Okay, don't do that. It's a natural curve. So we're gonna take it from the center of the hand, just put it on top, right on the first ridge right here of your first finger. Make sure you can see it. And then now you should have a counterbalance because the meat of your thumb muscle here is kind of the roof. Okay, if you can see that. Now, I want you to just hold it there. We're not using any tension and just try to fly the plane. See, you have not all the control, but you don't need to squeeze at all, do you? All right, so now all we're gonna do is put that thumb down. We're gonna put that thumb down naturally. It's not gonna be bent or curved. Just put it down flat and it's going to cross right over the top of your first finger where your stick is. Now again, I'm still in the middle here and all I did was put that thumb down. Now fly the plane again. You have even more control, right? So it doesn't require a lot of tension because earlier you didn't even need your thumb. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, the stick was in the middle, right? So we're gonna put our middle, the tip of our middle finger in the middle to really hold it there. So if you see the stick past it, something's wrong. You should feel the tip of the mallet right on the tip of your middle finger. So I know the pinky and ring finger look weird right now because I'm not doing anything with it. Don't tuck it down, just have it open. I know this doesn't feel great, okay? So let's check it out. Thumbs down flat. I have it on the first ridge of my first finger. My middle finger's right there holding it down, okay? Now, I want you to think of that thumb, first, and middle as its own team. Okay, that's team thumb, first, middle. It's its own thing. Now, let's grab your other stick. I want you to point your hand down. Now, your pinky and ring finger are out there dangling, ready to do something. So what I want you to do is I want you to take the stick and insert it in the webbing between your middle finger and your ring finger. So let me try to get a good view of this. I'm really putting in the webbing there right in between. Okay, then I want you to wrap your fingers around. Now I do want a little bit of slack back here. I want like a 1/2 inch of the stick, so you shouldn't have it all the way in like this, or you shouldn't have a bunch of stick there. It should be about 1/2 inch there because you need some leverage. Now here's the hard part. Your pinky and ring finger need to really push down and create almost like a box. Look at my pinky. I'm kind of creating a square, right? If you have it flat like this and your fingers are flat, that's not what we want. We really need to tuck that pinky down and around. But more so than that, the pinky and ring finger are not going into the territory of the middle finger or the stick that we first started out with. Okay, so we really got to pull it away. If you need to use your other hand to kind of help you tuck that in, tuck it away and get it out of the way. One way you can tell you've done this right is look at my middle finger and look at my ring finger knuckle. They're not the same. Okay, if they're the same and they look like that and they're both flat, something went wrong. Your ring finger should kind of be out and pulling away. Okay, again, this does not feel super comfortable yet. The reason why that's important is if you're holding your stick naturally, you're gonna have about an interval of 1/5. Your thumb should be on top in a natural position. Your thumb should be on top. Think about that. If your inner mallet that is connected to your thumb, first and middle finger, is entering up top here, and you have this mallet here kind of entering lower, so what's going to happen naturally is this is going to be higher than this one. So what we're going to do is really tuck that pinky down, and that gets that mallet up so it matches at the top, because it has to have a steeper angle. So that's why we really have to pull that pinky down. Look, this is a lazy pinky. Look what happens when I pull that pinky down. You saw that mallet come up, and now it's going to match at the top. Okay, so let's just look at the grip for a little bit. Try to get a top view. Okay, if you have it, it looks like this, about a fifth. I'm going to set my mallets up on C and G, okay, and just practice moving my wrist up and down. Now this is not a natural wrist motion because your thumb's on top. Usually your wrist moves this way, right? But we have to get used to moving our wrist up and down like that. And yes, we'll learn how to use arm in a little bit, but just get used to doing what we call double verticals. I'm hitting C on the bottom and G on the top in a fifth. Now I'm still trying to piston stroke this and have a strong grip. Don't let things be moving around, and go up very quickly. It's a quick motion, like you're trying to flick water off the tip of your stick, okay? Try to get a really big sound. Make sure you're in the center of the bar for targeting purposes. Okay, now you could do 4 on the floor, which means you could sit down, put your back against the wall or the couch or whatever, cross your legs so that there's space on your right and left so your knees aren't in the way, and you could put your hand down close to the ground and get your hand up, and you could practice just doing double verticals. Okay, here we are on the floor now. So if we're on the floor and we're doing 4 on the floor, you could get this kind of sound. Listen. Okay, I'm hearing a lot of the yarn. I want to get to the core of the mallet with piston stroke. So I want that to be more of a tacky sound. And it's higher pitch. And it comes from having a nice, strong, confident grip, but that whippy piston stroke. Like again, if you dip this in water and you're trying to whip that water off and come right back up to where you started. Don't start here and lift. You're already lifted and then just boom and come back. It's like a quick karate chop. Now, you're not always going to play that harshly, but if we have strength, we can always relax later. So let's learn this piston stroke. So again, we don't want this. And hear the yarn. We want to get to the core and hear that snap. It's higher pitch. Okay, so obviously I want you to repeat the steps in your other hand and get the grip going in both hands. Okay, so you can watch the video again. I'll show you again pretty quickly. Okay, it's my other hand that was empty. Middle, put it on top of the bird perch, thumb down, middle finger goes to the edge of the stick. I'm going to put the other stick in the webbing of my ring finger and pinky. I'm really going to try to really tuck the pinky around in a square and have 1/2 inch right here. The angle of my ring finger does not match my middle finger. It's out a little bit more, and I have a strong pinky connection here to get the same angle at the top. Okay, make sure it looks good. I know it's tough because like you're trying to figure this out for the first time, or maybe check your grip. Okay, and this is what it should look like. Okay, we're moving in piston stroke fashion in a fifth. CG, CG, like this. Okay, I'm not playing super high, but I'm trying to get a nice solid sound. I don't want to get flams, okay, and I don't want like a soft. Okay, I want to get a nice sharp sound, strong sound. And make sure you're matching at the top. The other thing I see middle schoolers do, because they're kind of smaller, is you'll naturally be, if you connected the dots with the mounts, it's kind of in a rainbow, right? So you have to kind of get your elbows out depending on your torso length, and get those elbows out so that your sticks are straight across and hitting over resonators. Otherwise, these mallets here are going to be on string probably. Okay, or these are going to be on string, and this would be in a good spot. We want all of it to be in a good spot. So you're going to move those elbows to get everything in a straight line. Okay? Okay, right over the resonators. Okay, now obviously if we got the grip, we're ready to do the 4 mallet technique exercises, either your teacher's exercises or in the AYA Handbook or any other AYA percussion things that I come out with in the future. And you're ready to go through double verticals, go through interval shifting, start to get some independent motion going, but this is just the grip. Pay attention to details, go back to the video if you're still confused, and make sure you can do this grip. If you're doing things correctly, you should start to get kind of a red spot on the inside of your middle finger, the side closest to your ring finger. You should start to get a red spot right in the inside, just about a ½ inch from the webbing. It shouldn't be on your knuckle or over here, okay? It should be right here on close to the base of where the webbing is of your finger, okay? One thing with 4-mallet Stevens grip that I want you to realize that makes it different than your 2-mallet grip is your body position. So I call this the rule of 4, because we're playing 4 mallets, right? All right, so when you're playing 2 mallets, you're used to holding the sticks just like a snare drum, basically 1/3 up the stick, okay? Now, when we're doing 4 mallets, we're holding it at the very tip and we're holding it at the very tip. So think about that for a second with your pinky. We're not holding it 1/3 of the way up, we're sneaking it back about 4 inches. So if you're used to being this close to the instrument, if you set up 4 mallets and you've added 4 inches here, where are you naturally gonna be? Right on the string, because you just went forward. So what you have to do on 4-mallet grip is take 4 inches back in your setup. So you gotta get away from the instrument a little bit. Now likewise, when you are playing 2 mallets, you can use your American grip and your wrist very naturally. There's a lot of wrist there. When you're doing 4-mallet, most of the time you're in a 5th or a 4th, something natural, and your thumb's more on top. So your wrist is not really breaking naturally. You're gonna have to do kind of a karate chop, which is not a lot of wrist. So to make sure that your wrist has more function, you've got to raise the marimba like about 4 inches. Okay, basically if you put your hand like this, and like you're about to shake someone's hand, like real comfortable for yourself, your instrument should be right underneath that pinky. Okay, so as you see, my marimba set up for 2-mallet playing, and look, it's about 4 inches low. So I need to raise this instrument to play better, and that's gonna help you. Think about it, if you were set up very low and your arms are straight and you're trying to raise high, you can't really raise it very much. If I raise my arm, look how much wrist I have to work with. So as you get your arms higher, you're gonna get more function from your wrists with that limited wrist that you do have with this thumb up position. So you're gonna have to raise the marimba 4 inches up. So we're playing 4 mallets, you're gonna step back 4 inches, you're gonna raise the marimba 4 inches.